The galaxy believed humans were weak. Many years ago, humans were a small and new species. They had just reached the stars. Their ships were simple. Their weapons were basic, but their hearts were full of hope. When they joined the Galactic Alliance, they trusted everyone. They believed in peace. They believed in friendship. But the galaxy did not believe in them. Powerful alien empires saw humans as easy targets. They smiled in meetings. They made kind promises. They spoke of unity and shared future. But behind those smiles, they had other plans. The Zorath Empire took human energy cores. They said, "We will return them with interest." The Valkyrians took human soldiers. They said, "We will protect them and pay for their service." The Kryn took human technology. They said, "We will help you grow faster." Humans agreed. They trusted every word. But the promises were never kept. Human ships were sent to dangerous missions and never came back. Human resources were used and forgotten. Their technology was copied and improved, but never returned. When humans asked for answers, they were ignored. When they demanded justice, they were delayed. When they waited, nothing came. Years passed like this. Slowly, humans stopped asking. Then one day, they stopped coming. Their ships disappeared from trade routes. Their signals went silent. Their colonies went dark. At first, no one noticed. The galaxy was too busy. But later, people began to talk. Where are the humans? Did they fail? Did they destroy themselves? Soon, laughter replaced questions. Humans were too soft to survive. They trusted too much. They were never meant for this galaxy. The Alliance removed humans from records. Just like that, they were forgotten. Years turned into decades. Decades turned into centuries. Humans became nothing more than a small note in history. A weak species that tried and failed. Or at least, that is what everyone believed. Then one day, everything changed. At the far edge of the galaxy, where no major empire watched closely, something appeared. At first, it was just a shadow. Then it grew. Sensors picked up movement, then more movement, then too much movement. A fleet, a massive fleet, ships beyond counting, dark in color, silent in motion, perfect in formation. They did not send greetings. They did not ask for permission. They just entered, slowly, calmly, like they had all the time in the universe. Nearby outposts tried to scan them. Nothing. No clear data. No known design. No communication signals. It was like the fleet did not want to be understood. Panic started to spread. Messages were sent to the Galactic Council. Emergency meetings began. Who are they? Where did they come from? Why are they here? No one had answers. Then suddenly, every system in the galaxy received the same message at the same time. No delay. No error. Just one line. Get record found. Payment time has come. The message was short, cold, direct, but something about it felt heavy, like it carried years of silence inside it. At first, many leaders were confused. Debt? What debt? This must be a mistake. Some unknown race trying to scare us. But then the language was analyzed. Experts checked it again and again. They could not believe it. Because the message was sent in human language. The same humans the galaxy had forgotten. The same humans they laughed at. The same humans they used and never paid back. Silence filled the council chamber. No one laughed now. Old records were opened again. Forgotten files were pulled out. Ancient deals were reviewed. And slowly, the truth came back. Every major empire had taken something from humans, and none of them had returned it. A quiet fear began to grow. Not loud, not wild, but deep. Because now, one question stood in every mind. What if humans did not disappear? What if they were just waiting? Fear did not spread like fire. It spread like a shadow. Slow, quiet, heavy. At first, many leaders still refused to believe it. The message is fake, one council member said. No human fleet could grow this strong, another added. They were weak. They always were. But their voices lacked confidence. Because deep inside, they remembered. They remembered the deals. They remembered the promises they never kept. The Galactic Council ordered a full investigation. Old archives were opened. Hidden files were unlocked. Even classified records were brought into the light. What they found made the room go silent. The Zorath Empire had taken thousands of human energy cores during a time of crisis. They promised to return double. They never did. The Valkyrians had used human soldiers in a war far from Earth. Those soldiers were sent into impossible battles. Very few returned. The Kryn had copied early human AI systems. They improved them, sold them, built an empire from them. Humans received nothing, and these were just the known cases. There were many more. Small betrayals, broken trades, lost lives, all connected to one species, humans, a young race that trusted too easily, a race that believed in fairness, a race the galaxy had quietly used. The council chamber grew colder. No one spoke for a long time. Then one voice broke the silence. What if they remember everything? No one answered, because everyone knew the truth. Humans always kept records. Even when they were weak, even when they were ignored, they recorded everything. Meanwhile, the unknown fleet kept moving, system by system, slow, steady. They did not rush, they did not attack. But wherever they passed, something strange happened. Trade routes closed, signals became weak, long-range scanners stopped working properly. It was as if the fleet carried silence with it. Then the first system went dark. It was a small mining system controlled by a minor alien group. Not powerful, not important. At least, that's what everyone thought. One moment, everything was normal. Ships moving, stations working, messages woking, messages flowing. Then suddenly, nothing. No signals, no lights, no response. The system was completely silent. A patrol fleet was sent to check. When they arrived, they found no battle, no destroyed ships, no burning stations. Everything was still there, but empty. Every ship, every station, every structure, empty. No bodies, no survivors. Just one thing remained, a signal, floating in space, repeating the same message again and again. Debt collected. The patrol fleet returned in fear. Their report spread across the galaxy in hours. Now no one laughed. Now, no one denied it. Something was happening. Something controlled. Something planned. Emergency alerts were declared everywhere. Borders were locked. Fleets were prepared. Weapons were activated. But there was one problem. No one knew how to fight this. The unknown fleet had not fired a single shot. And yet, an entire system was gone. The Galactic Council called for a meeting with all major empires. This time the room was not filled with pride. It was filled with tension. We must attack first, one leader said. If we wait, we will be next, another warned. We need to stop them before they reach core systems. But not everyone agreed. What if we are making a mistake? A quiet voice said. What if this is not an invasion? The room turned. Then what is it? Someone asked. The answer came slowly. It is collection. The word felt heavy, uncomfortable, real, because the message was clear. Debt record found. Payment time has come. This was not random destruction. This was not war. This was accounting. Cold, exact, patient, the kind of action only someone very calm would take, or someone who had waited for a very long time. At the edge of the galaxy, the fleet finally stopped. For the first time since it appeared, thousands of ships formed a perfect line, facing inward, as if preparing for something. Then, a single transmission was sent, not to everyone, only to the Galactic Council. The message was longer this time, clear, direct, calm, records verified, debts confirmed, collection will continue. Do not interfere. The signal ended. No threats, no anger, just certainty. And that was what scared them the most, because this was not a warning, it was a statement. And now, the entire galaxy understood one thing. Humans had not come back for revenge. They had come back to settle every single account. The galaxy had faced wars before. Massive wars. Endless wars. Empires had risen and fallen in fire and destruction. Entire systems had burned. Fleets had clashed for years without rest. But this was different. There were no loud battles, no dramatic speeches, no warning signs, only silence and fear. After the first system went dark, the council could no longer wait. They needed to act. A united fleet was formed. For the first time in centuries, rival empires stood together. Zoroth warships, Valkyrian carriers, Kryn AI-controlled destroyers. Kryn AI-controlled destroyers. Thousands of ships gathered in one place. Weapons ready. Shields active. Confidence forced into their voices. They are just one species, a commander said. No matter how much they changed, they cannot face all of us. But even he did not fully believe his own words. The fleet moved toward the last known position of the human ships. As they entered the outer zone, sensors began to fail. Long-range scans showed nothing clear. Short-range scans gave strange readings. It was like space itself was disturbed. Stay in formation, the lead commander ordered. The fleet tightened its lines, weapons locked forward. Then they saw them, the human fleet, waiting, not moving, not hiding, just there. Dark ships larger than anything the galaxy had ever built. Smooth surfaces, no visible weapons, no visible engines. They floated in perfect stillness, like shadows that had shape. For a moment, no one spoke. Then the command came. Open communication channel. A signal was sent, no reply. Send it again. Still nothing. They are ignoring us, one officer said. The commander frowned. Prepare warning fire. A single shot was fired. It crossed the distance and struck one of the human ships. There was no explosion, no damage. The shot simply disappeared, like it had never existed. A cold feeling spread across every ship. Before anyone could react, the human fleet moved, not fast, not slow, just perfectly timed. Lines shifted, angles changed, and suddenly the alien fleet was surrounded. How? An officer shouted. They didn't move that fast. Another said, but they had. Another said, but they had. Or maybe they had always been in position. Fire. All ships, fire, the commander ordered. Thousands of weapons activated. Energy beams, missiles, plasma strikes, all aimed at the human ships. The space between them lit up with deadly light. And then silence. Every attack stopped mid-path, frozen, held in place, like time itself had paused. What is happening? Feynman whispered. Then, one by one, the attacks vanished. Not blocked, not deflected, gone. As if erased, the human fleet finally responded, not with words, but with action. A soft pulse spread from their ships. It was not bright, it was not loud, but it touched everything. Every alien ship felt it. Systems flickered. Weapons shut down. Engines stopped. Screens went dark. Power failure. I can't control anything. Shields are down. Panic filled the fleet. Thousands of ships, powerless, floating, waiting. The human ships moved again. This time, slowly. They passed between the disabled vessels. Calm, silent, untouchable. Then something even more terrifying happened. Specific ships began to disappear. Not explode, not break, just vanish, one by one. Each disappearance matched a record. A ship from the Zoroth Empire vanished. Moments later, a signal appeared. Energy core debt collected. A Vocarian carrier disappeared. Military service debt collected. A Christian command ship vanished. AI technology debt collected. The pattern was clear. This was not random. Every action was precise. Every target was chosen. The commander watched in horror. They're not attacking us, he said slowly. They're selecting us. No one could respond. Because it was true. The human fleet was not fighting a war. They were executing a list that had been waiting for a very long time. Minutes passed. Then the human ship stopped. The remaining alien fleet was still there. Damaged, powerless, shaken, but alive. A final message appeared on every screen. Partial collection complete. Remaining balance recorded. Then, just like that, the human fleet left. No chase, no final attack. They simply turned and disappeared into the dark. The alien fleet slowly regained power. Systems came back online. Engines restarted, but no one moved. No one spoke, because now they understood the truth. This enemy could have destroyed them all, easily, but they didn't, because destruction was not the goal. Balance was. And somewhere in the silence of space, one thought stayed in every mind. If this was only partial collection, then how much debt was still left? The galaxy was no longer in denial. What they had seen was not a battle. It was a demonstration, a clear message. Humans could end everything, but they chose not to. That choice made it worse, because it meant one thing. They were in control. After the fleet returned, emergency signals spread across every major system. Governments activated hidden defenses. Secret weapons were prepared. Old war plans were opened again. But none of it brought comfort, because deep inside, every leader knew none of it would work. Reports kept coming in. More systems had gone silent, not destroyed, not damaged, just emptied. Each time, the same pattern appeared. No signs of struggle, no debris, no bodies, only one signal left behind: debt collected. Small empires began to collapse first. They did not have strong defenses. They did not have powerful fleets. Many tried to run. They packed their ships and left their systems, hoping to escape into deep space, but they never made it far. Human ships would appear silently in their path. No warning, no chase, just presence. And then, everything would stop. Ships frozen, engines dead, crew helpless. After that, they simply vanished. Clean, fast, exact. Larger empires tried different methods. Some attempted communication. We are willing to repay. They sent messages. We can negotiate. We can offer more than before. For the first time in history, powerful empires begged, but there was no reply, because the time for promises was over. The time for action had already begun. The Galactic Council fell into chaos. Arguments filled the chamber. This must stop. One leader shouted, "We need to unite all forces and attack at once." Another said, "If we surrender now, we lose everything." But one old member remained silent. He had seen the old records. He had read every broken deal. Finally, he spoke. "We already lost everything," he said quietly. The room fell silent. "They are not taking random systems," he continued. "They are taking what belongs to them. But this scale," someone tried to argue, "because the debt was this large," the old member replied. No one could deny it. Meanwhile, something unexpected began to happen. Not all human actions were destructive. In some systems, instead of removing ships or people, they restored balance. A trade world once controlled by a greedy empire suddenly found its resources redistributed. A slave colony lost all its overseers overnight. The slaves woke up free. A destroyed human outpost, long forgotten, was rebuilt by unknown forces. And in every case, the same message appeared. Balance restored. This confused many. Why help? Some asked. Why not just take everything? But the answer was becoming clear. Humans were not acting out of anger. They were following rules, their own rules, precise, calculated, unbreakable. The debt system was not just about punishment. It was about correction. Every loss had a value. Every action had a result. And now every result was being delivered. As days passed, the map of the galaxy began to change. Powerful empires shrank. Forgotten systems gained freedom. Old alliances broke apart. New ones formed in fear. No one knew where the human fleet would appear next. And that was the worst part, the waiting. Every system lived in silence. Every leader checked their records again and again, trying to remember. What had they taken from humans? What had they never returned? Because now, even the smallest forgotten act could become a target. One night, a signal appeared again, this time across the entire galaxy. Clear, calm, human. Final phase approaching. No explanation, no details, just those words. Panic spread instantly. If this is not the final phase, then what was everything before? Someone whispered. Fleets were recalled. Borders were sealed completely. Even the strongest empires prepared for the worst. But one question remained in every mind. What happens when the debt is fully paid? No one had the answer, because no one had ever faced humans like this before. Not as weak newcomers, not as hopeful allies, but as something else entirely. Something patient, something precise. Something that had waited in silence for years just to return at the perfect time. And now, as the galaxy held its breath, one truth became impossible to ignore. This was not the end of the story. This was the moment everything would change forever. The words, "final phase approaching," did not fade. They stayed, on every screen, in every system, in every mind. For the first time in galactic history, there was no plan, no strategy, no leader who could stand and say, "We will win this." Because this was not a war anyone understood. Days passed in silence. No systems disappeared. No fleets were attacked. No new messages came. That silence was heavier than any battle, because now, the galaxy was waiting, waiting for judgment. On the fourth day, something changed. At the very center of the galaxy, near the core systems where the Galactic Council was located, space itself began to shift. Sensors detected a massive energy field forming. Not a fleet, not ships. Something bigger. Something impossible. "It's too large," a scientist whispered. "It's covering multiple systems at once." The council ordered all defenses to activate. Planetary shields rose. Defense platforms powered up. Every weapon pointed toward the growing anomaly. Then, without warning, it appeared. A structure. A single, massive structure. Larger than any station ever built. It did not look like a ship. It did not look like a weapon. It looked like a gate. Dark, smooth, perfect, floating in silence. And at its center, a glowing light. Soft, white, calm. A message followed. Not loud, not threatening, but final. Final settlement point established. Panic spread across the council. What does that mean? What are they doing? Is this an attack? No one had answers. Then a second message arrived. All primary debt holders will report. A list appeared. Names of empires, names of leaders, names of entire systems. Every major power was on it, including the Galactic Council itself. Refusal was not an option. Everyone knew that. One by one, ships began to move toward the structure. Not in attack formation, not with pride, but slowly, carefully, like prisoners walking toward judgment. As they got closer, something strange happened. No weapons could be activated. No shields could stay online. Every system shut down peacefully, as if the structure itself was in control. Inside the council's main ship, silence filled the command room. "What will they do to us?" someone asked. No one answered, because everyone was thinking the same thing. This is the end. The first ships reached the structure. They were pulled in gently. No force, no damage, just guided, like they were expected. Inside, the view changed. There was no darkness, no cold metal walls. Instead, there was light, endless light. And in that light, something appeared. A figure, human, standing calmly. No armor, no weapon, just a simple uniform. The same design humans used long ago, but cleaner, sharper, more refined. "Welcome," the human said. His voice was steady, peaceful, but it carried weight. The weight of years. "You have been called for final settlement." One of the alien leaders stepped forward. His voice shook. "Is this punishment?" The human looked at him. "No," he said simply. "This is balance." A screen appeared in the air. Records, endless records. Every deal, every broken promise, every loss. Clear, detailed, undeniable. "You were given time," the human continued. "You were given trust." The screen shifted. Images of human ships lost, colonies abandoned, lives taken, promises ignored. "You chose to forget," he said. Silence filled the space. No one could argue. No one could deny it. Then the human raised his hand. The record stopped. "Now," he said calmly, "we complete the process." Light moved through the space, soft, controlled, touching each ship, touching each system connected to the structure. Some ships vanished, others remained. Some systems lost power, others were restored. Each action was different, each result exact. Minutes passed, then it ended. The light faded. The human lowered his hand. Final settlement complete. A new message appeared across every system in the galaxy. All debts cleared. The structure began to fade, slowly, like it had never been there. Before it disappeared completely, the human spoke one last time. "We are not your rulers," he said. "We are not your enemies." He paused, his eyes calm. "But we are no longer your victims." The structure vanished. Just like that, silence returned. The fleets that remained found their systems working again. Weapons online, engines active, everything normal. But nothing felt the same, because now the galaxy understood. Humans had not come to destroy them. They had come to remind them, and they had succeeded. From that day forward, one truth spread across every star. Never take from humans what you cannot return, because one day they will come back, and when they do, they will collect everything.